Okay, so here is the reading from Aristotle, and now I'm going to explain what I saw as some of the main points and how I'm using this with my willpower challenge. You may remember that when you read this, you had done the 48-hour time log, right, where we keep track of our time. I'm going to show you my calendar and how, in relation to this first quote, it makes me think about, am I living my days according to what my end is? So Aristotle said, if there is some end of the things we do, which we desire for its own sake, not just, I'm doing this degree because I need it for a certification, so I just got to do it. But why do you want the certification? What flourishing is that going to add to your life, right? So for me, if I look at my activities during the day, and I look at my calendar to help show you what those are, so check it out. If you just look at this week when I was late for class Thursday, the reason was because from 3 to 4, right before class, there was an address by the president and by the provost, that's the leading academic officer of the institution, to whom all the chairs and deans report, and to whom my boss reports, right? And they were giving a shout out for our office. So I went to that because it represents why I'm here, for my office to help people transform their teaching and learning. If you look at other uses of my time to see if they're in line with what Aristotle calls things we do which we desire for its own sake. And the point is, those must be the good. Will not knowledge of those have a great influence on our life? Help us not just be aimless, I don't know what I'm doing, whether I'm really doing what matters. Instead, when I looked at my time, I realized over time that having strength training twice a week was really important for my muscles to maintain just their ability to perform, but also for my fitness, like to feel alive and vital. I like these cardio high intensity times that I've told you about, and I do that twice a week, and on Friday I'll also do it. Other stuff in my week is like I ran I'm looking at the wrong week here actually. This week I observed some faculty teaching. Sorry, I'm realizing that one's confidential, so I can't reveal all of that. But there are some times that didn't really align with what I desire for its own sake. Like all this time I had to spend on budget. It was incredibly dull and boring and just had to be done. So the point of the Aristotle and doing that analysis of my time helps me realize which activities are really life nourishing, which ones you just got to do because you got to do them. I'm hoping that makes it more clear. Okay, and this one I really love, where what Aristotle says literally is some vices miss what is right because they're deficient, and others because they're excessive in feelings or in actions, while virtue finds and chooses the mean. So the idea is that any virtue, anything down this middle column, can be a vice when it's done in excess or when it's neglected, right? And so the example of this is that my, I think I already went through this in class, I don't remember. I gave an example of this in class. But nonetheless, I'm going to give you another example I didn't give, which is for conscientiousness, right? That's that ability to reflect and notice your actions and when they meet your standards. Um, I'm often overly responsive to shaming myself, and that's the excess of consciousness. Or sometimes when I'm not doing it, I'm not responsive to shame in the sense that someone's trying to give me feedback. My wife is saying, look, I need you to just relax for a bit about what you wanted to have happen at home and just go with the flow right now about what the kids want to do. That's what I take Aristotle to be saying when we use him to help us understand how we use our time. Um, so to sum up, Aristotle is famous for being one of the first Greeks to really say what it means to live a good life, but specifically how to do so logically and reasonably, how to have like a reasoning attitude towards it. And to me, it ultimately comes down to that idea of reflecting on my actions. Um, I keep a journal. I'll work on this stuff. I'll think about it when I'm driving. Those down times are when I'll think about how can I be doing better? What's my goal that I want to do better on? What's a goal that matters most to me for its own sake? And how can I neither go in excess nor in deficiency? Not kill myself if I'm not reaching my goals, but also not just slack off entirely. So a funny example to end on is I thought it was great that I went to the gym the past 2 days for only 25 minutes yesterday and 20 minutes today. I run to my sort of coach there and I say to him, Dan, better that I got in for 20 minutes than missed the workout entirely, right? I told him this today and he goes, you gave me that same excuse yesterday. Get out of my office. That's a tough love approach, right? I might differ with him, actually. I really think it's worth it because I got there.
That all the time. I do that.
Right? Thank you. And Lexi happens to agree.
Hi guys.